The air crackled with anticipation. It felt electric. I, Professor Thomas Ashton, stood on the precipice of the impossible. Years of tireless work, countless sleepless nights, all culminating in this moment. A bead of sweat trickled down my temple, a stark contrast to the icy chill in my veins. I adjusted my glasses, my heart pounding like a drum solo. This was it, the culmination of a lifetime dedicated to unraveling the secrets of time itself. Tonight I would touch the face of eternity. Tonight I would make history. They called it madness, a fool's errand. Time is a river, not a pond, Thomas, they'd scoffed. But I knew better. I had pored over ancient texts, deciphered cryptic equations. I understood the delicate balance, the intricate dance of seconds and milliseconds. My creation, the chronarium, hummed with raw power. It was more than just a machine. It was a symphony of gears, crystals, and electromagnetic fields, all orchestrated to manipulate the very fabric of time. A machine capable of pausing time itself. With a deep breath, I threw the switch. The weight of countless hours of research and preparation bore down on me. This was the moment we had all been waiting for, the culmination of years of hard work and sleepless nights. The room was filled with an electric anticipation, a sense that something monumental was about to happen. The chronarium roared to life, bathing the lab in an ethereal blue light. It was a sight to behold, a marvel of modern science and engineering. The glow was almost hypnotic, drawing everyone's attention to the center of the room where the machine stood. It felt like we were on the brink of a new era, a step closer to unraveling the mysteries of time itself. The air thickened, vibrating with an unseen energy. It was as if the very fabric of reality was being stretched and twisted by the forces at play. The sensation was both exhilarating and terrifying, a reminder of the immense power we were tampering with. Every particle seemed to hum with potential, a symphony of energy that resonated through the room. For a moment everything seemed to hold its breath. Then silence. The sudden stillness was almost deafening, a stark contrast to the cacophony of moments before. It was as if the world had paused, waiting to see what would happen next. The tension in the room was palpable, every eye fixed on the chronarium, the clock on the wall frozen mid-tick. Time itself seemed to have come to a standstill. It was an eerie sight, a reminder of the delicate balance we were attempting to manipulate. The hands of the clock, usually so reliable, were now suspended in a moment that felt like an eternity. The dust motes in the air suspended in their dance. They hung there, caught in the light, like tiny stars frozen in the cosmos. It was a beautiful yet unsettling sight, a visual representation of the stillness that had enveloped the room. Each particle seemed to be waiting, just like us, for the next moment to unfold. My own hand, inches from the control panel, locked in place. Time had stopped, but something was wrong. The initial excitement was quickly giving way to a growing sense of dread. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. We had anticipated a controlled pause, a brief moment to observe and measure, but this felt different, more permanent, more ominous. A high-pitched whine pierced the silence, followed by the acrid smell of ozone. The sound was sharp, almost painful, cutting through the stillness like a knife. It was a warning, a signal that something was terribly amiss. The smell of ozone filled the air, a harsh reminder of the volatile nature of the forces we were dealing with. The chronarium sputtered, the blue light turning an angry red. Sparks flew from the machine, and a thin trail of smoke began to rise. Panic set in as we realized the gravity of the situation. The machine, our greatest achievement, was now a ticking time bomb. We had to act fast, but time, ironically, was not on our side. I stumbled out of the lab, my heart pounding against my ribs. The hallway was eerily still. A half-eaten sandwich lay abandoned on a desk, coffee still steaming in a forgotten mug. The world was holding its breath. I stepped outside and into the frozen tableau of the city. Cars were caught mid-traffic, their horns locked in a silent scream. Pedestrians stood frozen, expressions a mixture of surprise and mundane routine. A bird hung in mid-air, wings forever outstretched, yet never reaching its destination. A Section 5, trapped in silence. Days bled into nights, marked only by the creeping chill in the air. The silence was deafening. Each passing hour felt like an eternity, the weight of time pressing down on my shoulders. The once vibrant city, now a ghost town, echoed with the memories of a life that seemed so distant. The streets, once bustling with activity, were now empty, devoid of any sign of life. The buildings stood tall like silent sentinels, watching over a world that had forgotten how to live. No wind howled, no birds sang, no human voices broke the stillness. The parks, once filled with laughter and joy, were now silent, the swings swaying gently in the breeze that no longer existed. The trees stood still, their leaves unmoving as if frozen in time. The absence of sound was a constant reminder of the emptiness that had taken over. I was a ghost in my own existence, the only being alive in a world of statues. My footsteps echoed through the empty streets, a lonely sound in a world that had forgotten how to listen. I wandered aimlessly, searching for any sign of life, but finding only the cold, unfeeling concrete beneath my feet. The city, once a living, breathing entity, was now a tomb, and I its sole inhabitant. The weight of my failure pressed down. Every decision, every action that had led to this moment played over and over in my mind. The regret was a constant companion, whispering in my ear, reminding me of what I had lost. The faces of those I had known, now just memories, haunted my every step. I was trapped in a prison of my own making with no hope of escape. The world, once a symphony of life and motion, was now a photograph, its beauty forever trapped beneath a sheet of invisible ice. The colours had faded, leaving only shades of grey. The air was thick with the chill of despair, and every breath felt like a struggle. The city, once a beacon of hope and progress, was now a monument to my failure. And I, the architect of this silent apocalypse, was left to wander its empty corridors. The halls, once filled with the sounds of life, were now silent, the echoes of the past the only company I had. I walked through the empty buildings, each step a reminder of what had been lost. The silence was a constant companion, a reminder of the world that had once been and the world that I had created. In this desolate landscape I was both the creator and the prisoner, forever trapped in the silence of my own making. Section 6. Desperate Measures. I buried myself in my work, the guilt a gnawing ache in my chest. Days turned into weeks, my only companions, the ghosts of my mistakes and the cold, unblinking stare of the cronarium. I had to fix this. I had to bring the world back to life. I dissected the cronarium, tracing circuits, analyzing energy flows. Sleep was a luxury I could no longer afford. The answer was there, hidden somewhere within the labyrinthine heart of my creation. Failure was not an option. Section 7. The weight of responsibility. The solitude was unbearable. Surrounded by frozen faces, I yearned for a voice, a laugh, any sign of life. The faces of loved ones, friends, strangers, all frozen in time, became a constant reminder of my failure. Their silent pleas for salvation echoed in the hollow chambers of my heart. It was a burden I carried with every step, a constant weight on my soul. The fate of humanity rested on my shoulders, and the burden threatened to crush me. Section 8. A glimmer of hope, then a breakthrough. I discovered a minute anomaly in the temporal matrix, a tiny flicker in the otherwise static field. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it was there. A sign of hope in the desolate landscape of my despair. Perhaps time wasn't truly frozen, but merely moving at an infinitesimally slow pace. With a surge of adrenaline, I realized that if I could amplify this anomaly, I might be able to kickstart time, to set the world back in motion. Section 9. The final decision. The solution was fraught with risk. The room was filled with the hum of advanced machinery, each device a testament to human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of progress. The control panel before me was a complex array of levers and buttons, each one a potential trigger for salvation or disaster. Too much amplification could shatter the delicate balance, erasing everything. The high-tech machine in front of me emitted a soft, pulsating glow, its energy radiating through the room. It was a marvel of engineering, yet its power was a double-edged sword. The light beams danced around, casting eerie shadows that seemed to whisper of the potential consequences, leaving behind a void where time itself ceased to exist. The thought of such an outcome was terrifying, an empty void, devoid of life, light, and time. It was a scenario that haunted my dreams, a dark, empty space where nothing could survive. The faint light in the void was a cruel reminder of what once was and what could be lost forever. But it was a risk I had to take. My determination was unwavering, even in the face of such overwhelming odds. The intense expression on my face reflected the gravity of the situation. I stood before the Sci-Fi device, knowing that my actions would determine the fate of countless lives. The world held its breath, waiting for the outcome. People from all corners of the globe watched with bated breath, their faces tense with anticipation. This was a critical moment, one that would be remembered for generations to come. The weight of their expectations was almost palpable, adding to the pressure I already felt, and I, its reluctant savior, had to exhale. The responsibility was immense, and I could feel the weight of it pressing down on me. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my nerves. The dramatic light cast long shadows, highlighting the tension of the moment. My exhale was a release, a moment of calm before the storm. The future hung in the balance, a delicate butterfly pinned beneath the weight of my responsibility. The futuristic cityscape at dusk was a beautiful yet haunting sight. The advanced technology skyline stood as a testament to human achievement, yet it was all suspended in time, waiting for my next move. The metaphor of the butterfly was fitting, delicate and fragile, yet carrying the weight of the world on its wings. With a final shaky breath, I reached for the lever. My hand trembled as I extended it towards the control panel. The lever was cold to the touch, a stark contrast to the warmth of my resolve. This was the moment of truth, the culmination of all my efforts and sacrifices. I reached for the lever, ready to face the consequences, whatever they may be. The fate of time, the fate of humanity, rested on my next decision. The close-up of my intense eyes reflected the determination and fear that battled within me. This was a critical choice, one that would shape the future in ways I could scarcely imagine. The lever felt heavy, not just in its physical form, but with the weight of the decision it represented. I could feel the eyes of the world on me, their hopes and fears intertwined with my own. This was more than just a mechanical action. It was a moment that would define the course of history, ready to face the consequences, whatever they may be. The fate of time, the fate of humanity, rested on my next decision. The control panel seemed to pulse with energy, as if it too was aware of the gravity of the situation. My intense eyes locked onto the lever, knowing that this was the point of no return, rested on my next decision. The dramatic decision-making moment was upon me. I could feel the weight of history pressing down. The intense moment in this sci-fi setting was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. This was it, the final decision that would determine the fate of everything I held dear.